think the guys, the guys have enjoyed their 15 minutes of fame there. The crowd we had for Sub-State was unbelievable. I mean, the community came out and supported these guys, and it was just a fun atmosphere that night, and just how those guys competed and fought through. Our last time in Sub-State, we got beat by Oak Ridge over at Oak Ridge, so it was satisfying to beat them and end up going to state. But I just hope they haven't had too many pats on the backs, because now they got to turn around and do it all again against better competition.
Do you think it speaks to your district or your team's growth that you guys finished third in the regular season and now you're going to state?
Well, our district was as strong as it's ever been. I think it was the strongest. I thought the top 4 teams in our district, any of them could have finished first place. We had a tough district this year, and our guys improved. I mean, as they went through the conference, and we got better and we improved. And then when we got to the district tournament, to win that gave them a ton of confidence right there going into region. And so I think they've just been feeding off of it.
You guys have gotten this far with, no superstars. It's a different person every night, it seems like.
Yeah, and that's, even when I had superstars back in the day, the old West Side days, it was amazing how, we had different guys each night stepping up. When nobody cares about who gets the glory, it's you can get a pretty good team together. And these guys, I mean, Cam McElhaney has come through for some big games for us, Cam Burden, Marvin Castro, Noah Savini, Jake Agee have had some games where they've really chipped in late to propel us. So Tyler Wilson has given us some good minutes off the bench. So it's just been a great team effort. And Wes, Wes is known as a shooter, and we've said you need to be known as a scorer, because there's a huge difference between a shooter and a scorer. And he got held down a couple of games because of it, and I just talked to him, said everybody's going to have bad shooting nights, but we still got to get your points. And he's done that the last few games. I mean, he only had 1 basket from the floor against Oak Ridge, but ended up getting to the free throw line and getting double-digit scoring for us. And that's what has to happen. You can't have your leading scorer have a 2-point night. To understand how to be a scorer and a star, you have to be able to get points on bad shooting nights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see that in the NBA all the time.
Sure.
Your stars a lot of times score their points at the line.
Yeah, you got to get them at the line. You got to get them on offensive rebounds. You just have to do little things, and you can still get your points there. Mm-hmm. And that's what I push with Wes.
I know from what I had seen going into this season, I had thought, next year might be the year for you guys. But this year, kind of anything you got past district was icing on the cake.
Right.
I mean, it almost seems like you guys are hitting stride a little, maybe a hair early in the grand scheme of things.
Well, these guys just play with a ton of confidence. I mean, they expect to win every time they take the court. And, when you have those kind of expectations, it doesn't seem they get nervous. I mean, we're going to find out Wednesday night how nervous they get when we play Memphis Whitehaven right off the bat, out there in the big arena. And but I just really don't see them, falling to the nerves, or the moment being too big for them. I think it's just a group of guys that believe in themselves as players and believe, they've been teammates for so long now because they played middle school together, a lot of them, and then, of course, AAU together. So, I just think they're ready to live in that moment.
I think people saw who you guys drew, and everybody knows, they got this guy that's tallest player in the state in 4 decades or whatever. And they're a Memphis team, so that comes with all of its own connotations.
Sure.
But your team has been kind of disproving people for the last few weeks anyway. I know I heard a little scuttlebutt going into that Oak Ridge game and the game prior to that, that people might be overlooking you. Um, do you think that that's uh, is that a testament to your team believing in itself regardless of the opponent, or do you think there's something to that? People naturally, you look at the roster and there's a couple, maybe 6'4" guys, but it's you're not a big team or flashy.
Well, a lot of people look at the layup line and say, okay, but gosh, this team's going to kill this team. You can't go on the layup line. It's how teams play together, and and I know people didn't think we'd beat. They didn't think we'd beat Science Hill. And because Science Hill had put us out the last 3 years, but two of those games were 2-point games where we had a chance at the end. I mean, it just didn't fall our way. And then Dobbins Bennett was 30-3 this year, so we weren't going to beat Dobbins Bennett. But I don't think they overlooked us because I know Coach Poore. He was at Jeff County and he played us, and I know he's always respected our program and our kids. So I just don't see them overlooking us. I just think our kids got out there and competed and it played and just played well. Oak Ridge, I've known Coach Green for a long time. I knew him back when he played for Sweetwater. Because that was the year we won the Arby's when I was at Westside, and his Sweetwater team was in it with his dad coaching it. So I've pretty much been friends with his dad and him since those days. And maybe the kids overlook. Coaches sometimes we say, I mean, there's games you go out there and you play bad, and you go, guys, I told you, you better be ready. And just don't. But the kids don't believe it. It was great getting to host a sub-state game. Like I said, last time we were sub-state, we played at Oak Ridge, and it's sure a lot easier playing in front of your home crowd than the other team's home crowd.
Well, talking about the layup line, do you have any concern there that you guys get down there and then Wednesday your team looks over and sees what they're facing, or do you think this is a team that we'll see beyond that?
Well, I think I want to put blinders on them so they can't see down there. No, I mean, they know what they're up against. We haven't hidden anything from them, and it's like I told them, we got to be wary of their guards. I mean, they got the number 2 player in the state as a wing player, who's a tremendous player, and their point guard's tremendous. They shoot the ball well. If we're sitting there all worried about 7-4, then it's not going to be a close game. I mean, we have to. We can't just sag in and worry about him. We're just going to have to play defense and hope shots don't fall. But the biggest thing is we've got to rebound the basketball, and that's always a tough chore against Memphis schools because those kids they understand how to go fetch.
Now you were talking about Wes being a shooter. This is a game where that could come in awfully handy because maybe being a shooter is how you're going to score in a game like this.
Yeah, we're going to have to hit. I mean, we've worked an awful lot on the 18, 15-foot jump shots here because we know we're not going to get to score at the rim a lot with him waiting on us in there. When he's out of the game, hopefully we can get some at the rim. But, that presents a challenge. And one of the things we've done really good is getting to the free throw line throughout the tournaments. I mean, we have made more free throws than our opponents have shot, and that's always good for winning. And that'll be tough when you can't get to the rim. Mm-hmm. That's been a goal of ours every game is we want to make more free throws than the other team shoots, and we did that through the tournaments, and that's a huge reason we're where we're at. But it's a little tougher. They don't run out and foul you at the 3-point line too often. So we're still going to have to run our stuff. We're just going to have to take the 15 and the 10-foot jump shots while we're trying to finish all the way at the rim when he's in the game.
Yeah. The sports enthusiasts at our office, we're talking strategies and things. And without going into strategy, I know a few years ago when you had a taller player, Jordan Henriksen, who, think about it, is half a foot shorter than this guy. Just having him on the floor causes problems, affects shots, things like that.
Exactly.
And when people see his numbers, they don't look overwhelming at all. I mean, we've had people in this district, many that average more points and rebounds than that.
Right.
But what does that kind of size? What challenges does that present other than just the numbers?
Well, kids hate to get shots blocked. I mean, that's just an ego thing. You know, somebody going to smack your shot, and even if you have a big, even if he doesn't jump well, teams are going to. I mean, you're going to see kids adjusting their shots when they go in. All of a sudden, they start double pumping, and you end up anytime you can end up getting them to do that. It's going to change your shot, and you're going to get a lot more misses. So I've always enjoyed having the big guy for defense more so than offense. You know, I mean, it's good to have one for offense that you can just go down the low post and let him do his thing. But over the years, it's been more defense that I've enjoyed having a big post.
From a historical standpoint, it had to feel pretty good to get past this and get a Sevier County team to the state tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you always love it for the kids, you know. I've been lucky enough to experience it, and it's like I told them, you know, it's going to be special memories, guys. I said, you're going to come back in 20 years, and you're going to look up, and there's going to be a banner up there that you were in the state tournament, and, you know, you were sub-state champs and region champs, and that's going to be a source of pride that you're going to tell your kids that, yeah, I was on that team there, and this is how good we were. I know a bunch of the 91 guys come around and tell the kids how excited they are to see them go back, and, you know, because nobody's been since then. So it's just that special bond you have now. Like Wes, his dad played on that 91 team. So what a special bond that is between father and son.
Yeah.
When I won a state championship, my son was a senior on that team. You know, what great timing. You know, what a special bond there between me and my son. The fact that we won that state championship together. So there'll be a lot of special memories made by these guys.
With all the attention that's been paid to this, do you feel like it's been a distraction at all to the players?
Well, I mean,
I guess it's a distraction for everybody that's in the state tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the kids, you know, you hope they haven't been patted on the back so much that, you know, they kind of lose their sense of purpose. You know, we tell them what they're going to expect. That, you know, if we had our choices, we wouldn't be playing Memphis Whitehaven or Memphis East or hardly any of those teams in the state. But, you know, we are, so we're going to have to get ready and prepared. But you can also go there and not do yourself any favors. So you go down there and play bad basketball and really look like where people say, how in the world did that team get here? You don't want that. I just want them to go down there and compete and see where it falls. You know, I just want them to play well. If that's good enough, fantastic. If it's not good enough, I'm still pleased. You know, as long as we go down there and we compete how we've been competing, then I'll be happy.
You hear all the time about teams being tense their first game at a tournament like that. But your kids seem to have been pretty good about that. I mean, that game against Science Hill didn't look like there were any jitters there.
No.
And something like that in this kind of situation could be a huge potential advantage for you guys if you came out with a fast start. How do you balance, you know, is there anything you can even do as a coach to try to prevent those butterflies?
No, make him room with Wes or something like that, because seems like nothing bothers him. But this is a loose bunch. I mean, they really are. At times, I have to get on them because they are so loose. You know, and I said, you know, we got to be more focused and all that. But normally teams like that they just step up to the challenge. You know, they've never been uptight in a game that I've been around them. You know, so I sure hope it don't start now.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Coach, and thanks for